You're looking at extreme sports equipment that's brand new to Utah. These are Bad A boards.
We have so many people who walk up and keep saying, I wish I would have thought of this idea.
Cheryl Pendleton and her husband started Bad A boards about 3 months ago, and she thinks this is just the thing our state needs.
You know, we have the greatest snow on earth, and Utah brings in a ton of money because of snowboarding and skiing and stuff, but Utah also has some of the most beautiful sand dunes on earth, and so I think that it could be a huge sport here.
While sandboarding itself isn't new, it's been around since the 1400s. This piece of equipment is. It looks an awful lot like a snowboard, but it's very different. The board is made of wood with a high-gloss base and bindings made for bare feet.
When I saw it, I thought it was impractical. I didn't think it was really going to work or it was going to happen, but they started going down the hill and it was pretty sweet.
The Pendletons say these boards have been available overseas for years, but they're not widely sold in the U.S. That changed after a tragedy in the Pendleton family. Last year, Cheryl's husband was in an ATV accident that left him hospitalized with a spinal cord injury.
He couldn't use his hands, he couldn't do anything, and so I was basically the breadwinner for our family for 3 months.
As Cheryl spent night after night in the hospital with her husband, she decided to take a big chance. She had been looking into these boards online and knew they'd be good for Utah. But it was the accident that gave her the courage to start the company.
We were actually making them in the basement of our home at first.
And that's how Bad A boards started. The first 50 homemade boards are the ones you're looking at sliding down the dunes.
We've had hundreds of people come up here on the top of the hill and sign a waiver to try it. We sold sandboards, we rented sandboards. It was an amazing weekend, so yeah, I definitely think it will catch on. 30 of Cheryl's 50 boards sold. Colton Cheney is one of those proud new owners.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy a board today and have my own. I come out here a lot, so I'm totally stoked about getting one.
And if Cheryl's plan works out, there will be plenty of new riders just like Colton navigating their way down these dunes in style. 6 families, 6 dogs, 1 animal sanctuary. This is the Victory Dog Reunion at Dogtown in Kanab, Utah.
It feels like as much of a growing and a healing occasion for the people as much as it does the dogs.
These dogs were all rescued from Michael Vick's infamous dogfighting ring and brought to this sanctuary 5 years ago. One by one, they were adopted by these families. Now, the owners have talked on the phone and through email over the years, but they've never met until this week.
It's been amazing. We're all staying in the same place, so we have 6 ex-fighting pit bulls staying in the same place, and you would never know, again, that these dogs were born, bred, trained to fight. These dogs are, the furthest thing on their mind is fighting.
This time was all about getting to know each other. The family spent the weekend together, but they took time on Monday to talk with the media. They want the rest of us to get a glimpse into their lives.
We want to show the world that they can become normal dogs and be positive influences in their community.
But they admit the process was not easy.
And these dogs have never experienced any home environment, so it was very difficult for them to adjust because they were so shut down and so scared of the new environment.
Paul and Melissa live in the Northeast with Cherry Garcia. To protect their dog, they decided not to say their last name or exactly where they live. Richard Hunter lives with his dog Mel in Las Vegas.
All of Mel's psychological challenges really revolve around new people.
The owners say both of these dogs, despite their fighting past, love children and other animals.
He's so great around dogs, and he always has been. It's actually easier for him to meet a new person if they have a dog with them.
Their biggest issue has actually been confidence. Being abused has left them scared and nervous for different reasons. These owners say changing that will be a lifelong journey, so that's why they're happy to have each other.
Not only adopted a dog, we adopted a family. And
once we started talking, we realized that a lot of the dogs share commonalities.
These families share stories and methods to make the dogs more comfortable, confident. While it's been a slow go, each of these families agree their dogs live for affection.
Our favorite phrase is he loves to be loved, because he just seeks affection and just wants to be around people now. So it's just been amazing.
It's love that's not only given, but received.
The dogs have gotten a second chance at a really happy life, but I think as people, we have all really grown in the process.
Peaceful orchards outside of Payson look different than they did 7 years ago. The memory of what happened here stays with members of the Utah County Sheriff's Department, like Mike Brower, Doug Squire, and Matt Higley.
Remember it all the time. All the time.
In October 2006, a tip came in about a baby buried in a garbage bag near apple orchards, launching a full-out search with cadaver dogs.
Basically grid searching orchards, walking up and down with lights. It was dark.
We looked all over trying to find this baby, walked up and down these orchards for quite a bit.
Of course, there was a lot of area, kind of like trying to find a needle in a haystack.
The baby was 9-month-old Perla Hilary Reyes Lopez. Her parents, Valdemar Espino and Judith Lopez. Leads turned dry. Then, a break. Detectives tracked down a relative who cooperated, taking them straight to Perla's shallow grave. They started digging.
Once we saw some black garbage plastic, we knew that baby was most likely in it.
Sergeant Matt Higley remembers taking photographs of the somber crime scene.
She did not look right when we pulled her out of the ground.
Perla was buried in this orchard for about 8 days. Her body was wrapped in a white blanket. At the time, detectives didn't realize they'd spend years trying to solve this case or spend years trying to find Perla's parents.
We couldn't find the parents. They were gone, had disappeared.
Valdemar and Judith were living in Provo, but their apartment was empty. Detectives believe they quickly left. Forensic supervisor Doug Squire says blood matching Perla's was found in a bathroom and bedroom.
There was cleaning fluids out, and that always raises a suspicion of what was cleaned and what wasn't.
One day before Perla's discovery, the couple abandoned their truck at a Greyhound station. Valdemar and Judith boarded a bus with their 2 older daughters, heading south to Guadalajara, Mexico.
It was frustrating because we couldn't get a lot of help from, family members or those who knew of the circumstances.
The relative who knew information wasn't charged, but deported. Valdemar and Judith were charged with desecration of a human body, a warrant issued for their arrest. The FBI stepped in, but had no luck working with Mexican authorities. The case went cold.
It went cold, but it remained active to us involved trying to locate that and locate where they were. To think that somebody would bury their infant child in a garbage bag in an orchard, it hits close to home to everyone. I mean, everyone that was involved. It was emotional. It was an emotional experience and sad.
Perla's death remains a mystery. We went to her aunt and uncle's Payson home, hoping to find out more.
No sabemos nada.
Perla's uncle says his family hasn't talked with the girl's parents in years.
¿Cómo te sientes de todo eso? Pues mal. Pues no sabemos ni cómo fue la muerte de ella, la mía, no sabemos nada.
He says Perla is buried at the Payson City Cemetery. A plot was donated to bury her, but they couldn't afford a headstone. Perla's final grave is an unmarked piece of grass.
I think every one of us that worked on that case will always remember this.
Questions of what happened to Perla and why haunt investigators. They believe relatives or friends in Utah County are their last hope to finding her parents.
I think that's the key to the case, is the parents.
Somebody knows, they just haven't come forward yet.
That's why they'll never give up.
We owe it to Perla to find out. We owe it to her. We owe it to the rest of the family. We owe it to the public. For us, the driving factor is being there, being part of that process, seeing an infant buried in a garbage bag in the orchard. That's why we're not going to give up until we have the answers we need.
Until they get those answers, investigators won't have peace passing by those apple orchards.